stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no. They won't stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no.
Welcome back to We Are Mighty. How you doing? You hanging in there with me? I sure hope so. How have you been since we last spoke? It's been a couple weeks. Have you been helped by these talks we've been having? I hope at least one person is being helped. I know it's therapeutic for me, but I want it to be something that helps you on your journey as much or even more than it's helping me. I'll be honest with you, the last couple weeks for me have been pretty rough. I'm not sure why. It's been a few months, and of course, I guess I expected it to be a little bit better, but the last couple of weeks have probably been the roughest since the time most recent to my son's situation. And I'm not sure, like I said, what made it all come on. I think it may be because, my husband and I go to therapy. Side note, don't just go to therapy when something is wrong. That is a common misconception. Because we have zero marital problems. We are happily married. But as my husband said, we're great together, but we want to be greater. Now, I will admit, we didn't start going to therapy until after Miles was killed, because we did feel like we were able to navigate, the waters of marriage, any situation that came our way. But this was uncharted territory, something neither of us had ever dealt with. So we started going to therapy, and actually we talk about a lot of things, so not just Miles's death. But I found out when we were at therapy that my husband thought I had been angry with him recently, and he thought that because he said I had been just getting in the bed and just going to sleep. Like I'd turn my back to him and go to sleep. No, I guess pillow talk or any of that. And I had to explain to him the reason that I've been doing that is, throughout the day when you're busy and you're working and you're doing other things, you don't have to think about certain things. But when I lay down in the bed and I'm there in the quiet with my thoughts, that's actually the worst time for me. Especially since the situation with Miles happened late night, early morning, so I was awakened from my sleep with the phone call. So I have a hard time at night. And I don't like to be left with those thoughts. I don't like to allow time for those thoughts to enter my mind, because when they do, it's hard to turn them off, and it's upsetting. I had to change the ringer on my phone, because if for whatever reason someone needs to call me in the middle of the night, it almost triggers a panic attack. It's crazy how things trigger certain memories. Anybody else who has that ringtone, and unfortunately, I have an iPhone, it was that same ringtone everybody has. And sometimes a person's phone will ring near me, and I have to catch myself because I'm back in that moment. That moment when I looked at my phone and I said, I know it's not about Miles. He was just with us. And it took me so long to even process what I was being told on the phone. And so I had to explain to my husband that I'm not mad at you. I'm not angry with you. I guess I've been angry overall. And that's hard because I can't take it out on him. He's dealing with this just like I am. So after that session, and I had a complete meltdown in that session, just talking about having to deal with my thoughts. And I'd never gotten that emotional in a therapy session before. And it seemed like that just started my week of actually dealing with the grief, I guess. Every day there was something. There was something that upset me. There was something that just took me to a place where I didn't want to deal with people. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to leave my house. I left my house one day and there was a car pulled over down the street. And I had a flashback of my son calling me one time because there was a police officer behind him and he knew he was about to be pulled over and he was afraid. And he was at that same block down the street from my house. And I literally drove down there and parked down the street from where that officer had him pulled over just to make sure my baby was safe. And that's just the kind of mother that I am. I go hard for my kids. I always have. And it prompted me. I made a post on Facebook because something occurred to me and it was upsetting. And I don't do a lot of posting, especially about this situation, because I don't know. I know people who I feel like things they post are sometimes attention seeking or clickbait, as they call it. And I would never want to be accused of that. But then there's other times where I feel like if I'm not posting anything, people may think that I've forgotten or that I don't care. Trust me, that's absolutely not the case. But I'm going to read the post that I put up because I think it kind of encompasses what I felt like going through that week. So it said, "They keep telling me it's not my fault. He always called me when there was a problem and I helped him fix it. We always fixed it. He couldn't call me this time. I couldn't fix it. I can't fix it. Why can't I fix it? I gotta fix it. I always fix it. My baby's gone and there's nothing that I can do about it. God, please fix it. Somebody fix it. I hate feeling helpless. And that's how I feel. I feel helpless. Like, what do I do? How do I continue and my son is gone? Yeah, I know I've said it before, and I'm probably going to say it 100,000 times. How do I continue and my son is gone? No parent should have to bury their child. No parent should have to go through what I've had to go through. My son and I were close. Like my boys and I have always been silly. We laugh. We just call each other with crazy things. I may say hello. They may say something on the other end that just has me in tears laughing. I can't do that with my son anymore. Yes, he was 24 years old, but that's my baby. He's always been my baby. It's my bigums is what I used to call him. He used to hate for me to say it around his friends. But then we met some other guy whose nickname was Bigums, and he told me there could only be one, and that was him. Confusing, right? But it's so hard going day by day. I literally feel guilty when I feel like I am enjoying life. Do you know how hard that is to feel guilty for enjoying life? Miles was the type of person that he enjoyed life. He did what he wanted to do. He would call me, Mama, I'm leaving in the morning for California. I'll let you know when I make it there. And I have no clue where all of this came from, but that would just be Miles. He was fun-loving. He was positive. He deleted Facebook because he got tired of seeing the negativity. He hadn't posted on his Instagram page in years. Who that young doesn't do social media? Except for my older son, who doesn't really do it. But he has an Instagram page. But Miles, after a while, he just didn't want to see it anymore. And even when things would upset him, he may be trying to explain it to me and feel himself getting upset, and he would just stop himself and say, never mind, Mama. I'd want to know how he felt. Never mind. We'll talk later. And he'd change the subject. He just didn't want to deal with the negativity. Life of the party. My husband and I went out to dinner, and I happened to be scrolling on Facebook, and one of Miles's friends, had made a long post about just what they would have been doing. We would have watched podcasts together. We would have played basketball. You would have cussed me out, and, positive memories for him. And I broke down in the middle of the restaurant. It's not fair. It's absolutely not fair. A few months after Miles passed away, I got a new car. It was something that I had been working on, and we had been talking about it. I wanted this car since they were little, and he would tell me, "Oh, you got to get this color, you got to get this, you got to get that." But he didn't live to see me get the car. One of the first things I did was drove it to the cemetery. I don't know why, but I know why. And I felt guilty. I felt guilty about getting the car that I've wanted for years, because Miles had plans to get a car that he had wanted for years, and everything was falling into place. It won't happen. He won't get that car. He won't get to see my car. And yeah, I know something like getting a new car is probably something minute to other people. But our family is into cars. My husband's a mechanic. So a lot of conversations in my household were related to cars and what we wanted and what we wanted to do and what extras we would put on the cars. Miles was not getting a car that was not top of the line, even though I said, son, try to start a little bit lower, because we don't know how these payments are going to look, because he had A1 credit. And we don't want to get yourself into something. Nope, Mama, I want this car. I'm getting it on this date. I've got this plan, and this is what I'm going to do. And he was determined. But it'll never come to fruition. I feel guilty for anything that makes me smile now. I feel guilty for having fun. But I know how Miles was. He would have wanted me to have fun. It just doesn't feel right, because when I have fun, I would always take a picture or take a video or put it on my Snapchat, send it to him, or no sooner than I post it, he's commenting, where you at? Who you with? What y'all doing there? And it doesn't even feel right to not get those messages anymore. A friend of mine had a birthday party. It was a 70s themed birthday party. My husband and I dressed the part, had my bell bottoms, had platform shoes that were crazy. And we had a good time. But on the way home, I started crying. My son Nick didn't get to see this, didn't get to see us have this fun. He's never going to be able to have fun again. That's a hard thing to deal with. And I'm not sure how to pull myself out of that. How do I stop myself from feeling guilty for living life? I know it's a part of the grief process. It's one of the stages, I guess. But again, this is uncharted territory. And I usually pride myself on being able to navigate things. I'm the one who helps everybody else navigate things. I'm the one who stands up for everybody else. I'm the one who is right there to walk through it with you. I don't even want anybody to walk through it with me. How crazy is that? Because I can't articulate what I need. I don't know what I need. Do I need anything? I'm sure I do. But I can't even tell the people that I love what I need. I just need you to listen. I just need you to be there. And as selfish as it is, as selfish as it's going to sound, sometimes I need you to listen, and I don't want to hear your feelings. So that's why it's difficult to talk to my family, because we're all going through this. We will all go through this. And this isn't something that can be considered a season. I will never get to the point that I am not mourning this loss. I will never get to the point that I will forget my son. I'm a mother. Of course I won't. I'm a parent. Of course I won't. So what do I do? How do I navigate it? How do I keep his memory alive and keep myself alive? I saw a quote that said, "Don't bury yourself with the dead." And basically what it was saying was, as hard as it is to deal with the fact that that person's life has ended, yours doesn't have to end along with them. And it sounds good, but that's hard for me. That's hard for me because my life has been being a mother to my kids. I've told people when I had 2 jobs, I told them this is job number 2 and number 3, because job number 1 is being a mother. I've always said that. My number 1 job is being a mother. And I'm still a mother. It's just the identity has changed, because not only am I a mother to my living biological son and my living bonus sons, which I do not call my stepsons. Those are my sons. But I also have these friends of my sons who all call me mama, who see me as a mother to them, and trying to be there for them because they miss Miles. They go through it. They see me. They hug me. They're crying on my shoulder. So I've got to be strong for them. But at the same time, I'm not strong enough for myself. It's weird how I can shift when it's someone else and I know that it's hard for them as well. And I will shift to trying to be that pillar for them. And probably the second they walk away, I'm crumbling. So I don't know if that's a way of coping with it, if that's a way of trying to keep myself alive, or if that's just a coping mechanism to keep myself from completely falling apart, trying to be there for somebody else, even though it's just as hard, if not harder, for me. I'm trying to compose myself here. But I guess this is part of it as well. And I don't want anybody to think that I'm just here putting on a show, or I'm just here stone-faced with no feelings. Because this is tearing me apart. But this is the only way that I know to deal with it, is to put it out there. And like I said, hopefully it helps somebody. I remember years ago, I used to go through therapy just for myself. And I always wanted to take the things that I learned to teach to someone else. And I was told that I was codependent, that I didn't want to deal with my own issues. I wanted to try to help somebody else so I didn't have to deal with my own. And it's not true. That's just what helps me, is to help somebody else. It doesn't change how difficult anything is. It doesn't change the fact that my baby's gone. It doesn't make it any easier. But I'm trying to get through it somehow. And I'm trying to get through it with the least amount of guilt. Because of course I feel like there should have been something I could do. I feel like I should have been able to fix it. Because I always fixed it. He knew he could count on his mama to fix it. And I couldn't fix it this time. How I wish I could have fixed it. I really wish I could have fixed it. But one thing I want to try to do is live the way that my son lived. Enjoy life the way that he did. And it's going to take me a while to get there, because I can't enjoy life because something's missing. I recently said, I truly feel like the world stopped spinning for just a moment when my son stopped breathing. Because it just hasn't been right since. And I know that's probably arrogant. Maybe it was just my world that stopped turning. But it definitely hasn't been right since. And I don't think it'll ever be right again. It just has to become my new life without my baby. If you're dealing with grief, if you're dealing with the loss of a loved one, I pray for you. I've dealt with loss before, but this one is so hard to bear. And I would never, ever wish it on anyone. I'm not one to say my worst enemy because I don't really have enemies. But I would never wish this pain on anyone. And I know a few mothers who are dealing with this same pain. And I pray for you. I pray for us. We have to make it through it somehow. We will make it through it somehow. And how we end up, I guess, is up to us. We have to find a way to enjoy life again. Luckily, in this day and age of social media and iPhones and Android phones, we have memories. And some days I can look at videos of how goofy my son was and laugh. And other days, that laughter becomes tears. But at least I have memories. So many messages where he told me he loved me. And I told him I loved him. So there's no question. Maybe one day I can just get through 24 hours without becoming a blubbering mess, without the tears and the anger and the mood swings and the laughter 1 minute, tears the next, anger the next, going through every single emotion at the same time. Today ain't that day. But it's all right. I'm allowed to go through what I need to go through. You're allowed to go through what you need to go through, however you need to go through it. Don't let anybody tell you how you are supposed to grieve. I had someone tell me, he's with God now, let him go. That's probably the worst thing you can say to me. Let him go. And she may have meant well. That's not something that's going to happen. I'm not going to let go of my son. And if your way of coping with it is letting it go, then by all means. There is no proper way to deal with grief. There is no book that can tell you, here's step 1, here is step 2. Any of the self-help books that you get, they're going to speak in general terms because they cannot tell you what you're going to feel, what you should feel, how you should feel, how you should react, because everybody's different. And that is just fine. If you're angry, be angry. I literally have a room that I go into just to scream. Because there's nothing else I can do. I can't speak about it. I can't try to show anybody anything. I just have to walk away and scream. And then come back like nothing happened. And don't ask me what I screamed for. In all you do. In all you do. Be true to yourself. Be strong. And always, always be mighty. We are here every other Friday. If you'd like to join us, if you'd like to discuss your feelings, email us at wearemighty24, WEAREMIGHTY 24 @gmail.com. Even if you don't want to be a part of an episode, if you just want to express your feelings, that's fine too. I'm here. I love you. We'll see you next time.
They won't stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no. They won't stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no.